Howdies. Okay, so yesterday, we were streaming the Dark Pictures Anthology, The Devil in Me, and then I found like more things to it. Not like more things to that specific story, but like build on stuff. So I think that's what we're gonna do and see how far we get with that. So here's that. Um, it's the play alone. Oh wait, what's this? What is this? Oh, this is the other games. Wait, there's more? VR? Never. Horror shooter? Good night. Okay, that's the one we're playing right now, which I guess I don't think you have to play these in order. Okay. I don't have that one. I definitely have this one, and I have this one. Oh my goodness, there's so many games of this. This is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be crazy. Don't play alone. Movie night. We're gonna see. We're gonna see what this is about. I'm scared. Okay. New story. Oh, how many? Wait. 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 I'm a little confused because this is the same beginning as the last one. So is it just like not playing alone, like the same exact things though? Instead of like me playing everyone, I only have to play like one person. I also low-key wished I could have saved that couple. That was so like disappointing when I couldn't. Because if so, oh, we might have to cancel this. Because that's what it's looking like. Yeah. Return to main menu. So why is it called movie? Why is it called movie theater? Hold on. Don't play alone. Shared story? What does that mean? Oh. Yes. I think I get it. Bonus features? What's this?
Torture chambers, secret passageways, vats of acid, and deadly vaults. In 1895, Chicago police unearthed horrific evidence of torture and multiple murders at the sprawling castle of H. Holmes. Masquerading under the guise of caring doctor, kind husband, and prominent businessman, H. Holmes was a contemporary monster, designing his buildings solely for the disposal of human bodies. Torture Doctor, Monster of 63rd Street. H. Holmes was America's first serial killer.
Who was America's first serial killer?
Just south of Chicago, the suburb of Englewood was thriving with commerce. The train station itself had 9 leading lines of railway and over 100 trains stopping there every day. No other suburb of Chicago had this luxury.
Dr. Henry Howard Holmes, a pleasure to meet you.
Arriving in Chicago, Holmes finds work immediately at the E.S. Holton drugstore, located at the southeast corner of 63rd and Wallace in Englewood. Several months later, Everett Holton dies of supposed natural causes. Then Claire Holton, his wife, disappears after selling the drugstore to Holmes. Owning the drugstore, Holmes had a steady flow of cash. He would often purchase and resell goods and properties under his numerous aliases. In addition to scamming creditors, Holmes obtained his funds from other phony inventions, such as a mineral water elixir, which in reality was obtained from the city's water supply. 1888, Holmes secures a lease on the vacant property across the street from the drugstore, the southwest corner of 63rd and Wallace. It is here that Holmes will make his horrific dreams come true. He will construct a building for which the entire world will remember him.
Fantasies start very young, and so what he did then was he took a step furtherance of his fantasies to make it reality. And probably, if we had done a little bit of an investigation back then, we would have seen things like his plans, but not just plans for a building, because we'd expect to see architectural plans, but plans for his torture rooms.
For the suburb of Englewood, the building Holmes is erecting at 63rd and Wallace is a massive construction project. Day after day, passers-by stop to gaze at the spectacle of the many laborers working together to create a magnificent new edifice in their neighborhood. Englewood residents were so impressed with the massive building that they named it the Castle. From its outward appearance, it seemed rather normal. But like the duality of Holmes, the exterior and interior of the building were extremely different.
Holmes himself was the architect of the building. He was the only one who knew its design. There was this constant turnover of workers on the building. He would hire a mason to put in a wall and then fire the guy, or hire somebody to put in part of a staircase and then fire him. And there seemed to be several very sinister reasons behind that. One was he managed not to pay a lot of these people because he was always claiming that they were doing incompetent work. But the other, much more insidious reason was that no one except him really had a clear idea of what the structure of the interior of the house was. He had a huge bank vault installed in one of the rooms. And the way he did it was he put the vault in first while the building was under construction, and then built the room around it. And he bought this thing on credit and then refused to pay for it. The bank company said they were going to repossess the vault. Holmes said, well, come on in and do, but if you damage my building in any way, I'm going to sue you for everything you're worth.
The bottom floor of the castle housed a pharmacy, jewelry store, barber shop, restaurant, and a blacksmith shop. Behind this innocent facade was a Gothic house of horrors designed by the mind of a monster. The third floor seemed innocent enough, containing rented rooms, legitimate offices, and Holmes's own bedroom.
Rented rooms?
But it was the second floor that contained 35 rooms. many specifically designed as killing chambers. Disorienting unsuspecting victims, the labyrinthian construction contained numerous staircases and doorways that led nowhere. For a quick method of hiding a victim's body, a concealed greased chute and trapdoor led directly into the basement of the castle.
Is that the crusher?
The basement held the most terrifying rooms, resembling a medieval torture dungeon. Acid vats, quicklime pits, and a crematorium disguised as a glass-bending furnace were Holmes's favorite methods of immediate body disposal. After cleaning and mounting their bones, Holmes would profit from his victims by selling their skeletons to local medical schools and universities. Holmes would make a killing in Chicago, financially and literally. May 1st, 1893, the world's Columbian Exposition is open to the public in Chicago. Spanning 600 acres, sprawled out along beautiful Lake Michigan, the magnificent fair is a monumental sight to behold. Over 20 million people from around the world would attend the dazzling World's Fair between May 1st and October 30th, 1893. Holmes utilizes the World's Fair as the perfect opportunity to capitalize on his demented design of the castle. Located only a few miles from the World's Fair, Holmes's castle was perfect lodging for tourists. Holmes decides to rent rooms to visitors of the fair. He entirely renovates the upper floors of the castle, bringing in the most modern furnishings and luxuries, all purchased on credit, which Holmes had no intention of repaying.
Which is crazy.
In addition to placing newspaper ads for rooms to rent, Holmes visited the fair with several of Benjamin Peitzel's children, preying on elderly women who flaunted their wealth, making sure he invited them back to the castle for a warm night's stay in a soft bed.
They're not calling their relatives, telling them where they're at. They just know that they're going to Chicago to see the Columbian Exposition. Perfect victims, because they're unknown in the city. Their relatives, wherever they came from, know that they were coming to Chicago, and they never came back. Now, how do you start to find them? They don't even know where they stayed. Perfect, easy victims. I'm sure some of them got in and out of his place with no problem. And others, they walked in and they never checked out.
Some of the rooms had been completely lined with asbestos to make them soundproof.
Hidden in Holmes's office was a master control panel which connected to gas lines leading into airtight sleeping chambers. Holmes would lead his victims into the rooms, lock them in, and turn on the gas, asphyxiating them while watching their demise.
Asphyxiating.
Me out!
Asphyxiation.
Holmes, let me out, please! Holmes! Holmes! Holmes, please! Holmes!
At the height of the World's Fair, Holmes masterfully juggles his castle businesses, renting rooms, dodging creditors, selling skeletons, and attending to the needs of the many women in his life.
I have had many young ladies in my employ, most of whom are still living in and about Chicago, whose parents and friends know only too well that far from being their seducer, I have done much to materially help them in their narrow lives.
Being a personable, attractive young doctor and businessman, Holmes won the hearts of many women throughout his life. At one point, Holmes managed to secretly have 3 wives, each never knowing of the others. In 1890, Julia Connor became Holmes's employee and mistress, living at the castle with her daughter Pearl. When she became pregnant and demanded marriage, Holmes agreed on the condition that she allowed him to perform an abortion on her. She agreed. Neither Julia nor her daughter Pearl were ever seen again. Just a week later, Holmes sold a clean, articulated skeleton to the Hahnemann Medical College for nearly $200. In 1892, Holmes acquired another mistress, Emmeline Sigrand, and employed her as private secretary. Holmes sent Emmeline into the vault to retrieve some papers and sealed it, suffocating her to death. Several weeks later, the University of Chicago acquired a female skeleton
This
from
is
Dr.
crazy.
Holmes. In 1893, Minnie Williams became Holmes's new private secretary and eventually his mistress. Minnie was the beneficiary of a property in Fort Worth, Texas, valued at over $40,000. Holmes murdered Minnie and her younger sister Nanny after having Minnie sign over the Fort Worth property to him.
Where did the sister come in?
In 1894, Georgiana Yoke became Holmes's 3rd wife. He married her under the name Henry Mansfield Howard. Like his other legitimate wives, Georgiana lived out her entire life. On July 19, 1895, Chicago police enter the Holmes castle. The world would now learn of the horrors that the castle had kept secret for so very long. As disoriented detectives and police searched the upper floors of the castle, the true depths of Holmes's evil were waiting in the basement.
What happened to those? Like, he couldn't sell them like individual pieces? Like, here's just a skull. That sounds like so evil of me to say. I'm just asking the real questions here.
Among the death devices in the basement of the castle, investigators find piles of mixed human and animal bones, bloody women's undergarments, and a wooden dissection table saturated with dried blood. Chicago police were inundated with names of people reported missing from the World's Fair. 50 missing people were eventually traced to the Castle of Horrors. The evidence, blood and bones found in the basement posed a problem for 19th century criminal investigative techniques.
It was very difficult to go and identify even the bones as being human in origin, because with the very small fragments you didn't have enough of the identifying characteristics to be able to make that ID.
Toronto.
The world is now calling Holmes the monster of 63rd Street, torture doctor, and the modern Bluebeard.
Bluebeard?
Overnight, Holmes transforms from arch-swindler to arch-fiend. A Chicago journalist calls Holmes a multi-murderer.
The Holmes case generated this incredible amount of national attention and really international attention. Really in his own time and in America, Holmes was much more notorious and more widely known than Jack the Ripper, who was a contemporary of his. Then as now, people were very, very fascinated to sort of visit the sites of these terrible crimes. And his castle became a kind of tourist site. And there were various people who wanted to take it over and turn it into a kind of murder museum. And then, just before some impresario was about to make it again into this tourist attraction, it burnt down. Somebody burnt it down. I mean, it could have been, who knows, some outraged citizen who didn't want this to become some very morbid tourist attraction. Holmes's trial was kind of the O.J. Simpson trial of the day. It just generated this huge amount of publicity. The case had become a kind of national obsession. Of course, there wasn't CNN or Court TV back then, so it couldn't be covered quite as relentlessly, but it was covered very, very extensively. There were true crime books and pamphlets and all kinds of stuff. And Holmes himself had become a sort of folk figure almost, you know, the sort of national boogeyman.
We know he guilty. Don't play. Last day of doubt, Holmes' counsel decides to call no witnesses. How is he gonna get a
The courtroom fills
witness?
for the final verdict to be read. Holmes becomes extremely nervous when not one of the jury members looks at him. In his entire criminal career, this is the moment Holmes never believed would occur. He is found guilty of murder in the first degree. Herman Webster Mudgett, alias H.H. Holmes, would be hanged on May 7th, 1896.
Holmes' confession, many murders.
While Holmes was in jail, awaiting the execution of the sentence, he was made an offer by William Randolph Hearst, supposedly for a significant amount of money, to provide his confessions. Holmes, who had already issued about a half a dozen completely self-contradictory versions of his crimes, clearly at this point felt he had nothing to lose. He was going to die anyway. In this confession, he did a complete about-face and portrayed himself as the worst monster who ever lived. He just basically confessed to every crime anybody had ever suspected him of and threw in a few more for good measure.
He's reliving the fantasies after the fact now. He's reliving the fantasies of things that he did.
Wait,
She was very willing to do this, and prepared to leave the vault upon completing the letter, only to learn that the door would never again be opened until she had ceased to suffer the tortures of a slow and lingering death. The partial excavation in the walls of this room found by the police was caused by Latimer's endeavoring to escape by tearing away the solid brick and mortar with his unaided fingers. I closed the door and turned on both the oil and steam to their full extent. In a
wait,
short time, not even the bones of my victim remained.
were those workers or like detectives?
It was the footprint of Nanny Williams that was found upon the painted surface of the vault door, made during her violent struggles before death. Only one difficulty presented itself. It was necessary for me to kill him in such a manner that no struggle or movement of his body should occur. I overcame this difficulty by first binding him hand and foot, and having done this, I proceeded to burn him alive by saturating his clothing and his face with benzene and igniting it with a match. As soon as he had ceased to breathe, I cut his body into pieces, and by the combined use of gas and corn cobs, proceeded to burn it with as little feeling as though it had been some inanimate object. I immediately took them to the Vincent Street house and compelled them to get within the large trunk, through the cover of which I had made a small opening and ended their lives by connecting the gas with the trunk. Then came the opening of the trunk and the viewing of their little blackened and distorted faces. Then the digging of their shallow graves in the basement of the house. The ruthless stripping off of their clothing and the burial without a particle of covering save the cold earth.
What?
I am convinced that since my imprisonment, I have changed woefully and gruesomely from what I was formerly in feature and figure. My features are assuming a pronounced satanical cast. My head and face are gradually assuming an elongated shape. I believe fully that I am growing to resemble the devil.
Holmes never weakens. Holmes' confession. Something for you. Confesses to 27 murders. Holmes dies today. Why was 2 days spelled like that? Like with the hyphen?
On
In
the
front of everyone?
gallows, just before he died, he recanted. He claimed that the confession that he had published was a complete fabrication.
The extent of my wrongdoing in the taking of human life consists in contriving the killing of 2 women that have died at my hands as a result of criminal operations. That is all I have to say.
H. Holmes is hanged on Thursday, May 7th, 1896, just 9 days before his 35th birthday. At 10:25 a.m., he is pronounced dead.
He was very concerned that after his execution, his body would be dug up either by medical men seeking to dissect his brain and find out what made him tick, or just ghoulish sort of, souvenir hunters. And he requested that he be buried within a big slab of concrete, which he actually was.
10 feet.
One of the things about Holmes is that nobody knows for sure how many people he actually killed. Although in my researches, which were pretty, I feel, thorough and extensive, it seemed very clear to me that he murdered at least 9 people. There have been stories that he killed 50, 100, countless people, particularly in Chicago at the height of the World's Fair.
I guess 9 is a big number for a first serial killer. America's first.
How many people did Holmes actually murder? Most likely, no one will ever know. Holmes and the many other people that came in contact with him are long gone, having taken the answers with them to their graves.
I was born with the devil in me. I could not help the fact that I was a murderer no more than the poet can help the inspiration to sing. I was born with the evil one standing as my sponsor beside the bed where I was ushered into the world. And he has been with me since.
This is crazy. That is crazy. And then the fact that they made this into a game and like, is there a movie? Oh my goodness. Wait. Okay, okay. We're gonna unlock more of this because what? Okay, let me. Okay. What was his name? H. Holmes. Born on May 16, 1861 in New Hampshire. Died in 1896. So he died what? Wait, what age did they say he was gonna die? Like around 35? Exact, yeah, 9 days before his 35th birthday. He went to a medical school. He has, wait, he has kids. Okay, one of his kids, Robert, born in 1880, died in 1956 in Florida. Hmm. But he doesn't have any kids. It also doesn't say who his mother is. Interesting. And then you have Lucy, born and raised under the serial killer's shadow cast by her polygamous father, Herman Webster Mudgett. That was his real name. Okay. She was born in 1889, died in 1956 in California at 67 years old. She also didn't have any kids. Wow. Wow. Okay. Let's see his lovers. Clara Lovering, born in 1878, died in 1896. Wait, they all died in 1896. Mart is it mm, Martha? My Martha? I don't know. Born in 18 Oh wait, no, no, not born. Married. They were married. Born. Married. Married in 1887. And then Georgina married in 1894. So that's what, 2, 9, and then that's um 3, 7. So 9 years and then 7 years apart. Georgina married him in Colorado, and then she lived in Indianapolis. What the what? Wait, so where are the others from? Lucy. Wait, did I say Lucy? Okay, so Lucy was Mithra's daughter, and oh my goodness, stop it. Like, okay, Mithra continued her career as a teacher, becoming the first principal and then school administrator in Zoloft, never remarried and died in 1924. Her daughter died in 1956. Wait, now I'm so confused. Am I reading the right stuff? This is crazy though. I thought this was just a game. I thought this was just a game and someone came up with this. But like finding out that it was real. Like what? Honestly though, this is so creative. Like not necessarily saying like his kills are creative, but whoever made this game and still put like the documentaries and everything in it, they are big brain. Like if I knew this was like that, I would I would spend so much money on it. Especially because like, people love true crime stories, especially in this day. So and like they made it not necessarily entertaining because documentaries could be boring a bit in my opinion, but like they definitely made it like you're on your feet. Like you empathize with all the people. Like honestly, I feel like at certain points I was low-key about to cry. But that's crazy. So every single way that like they've been dying or like about to die in the game, I guess have been like real ways. But it's so crazy to me, and I keep saying the word crazy, but like it's it blows my mind that he was able to do something like that. Like not only get away with not paying for anything, like what? But like I guess like technology being like advanced in that sort of way is just like mind blowing to me, especially when we think about how far technology has gone from then to now. So it's just so interesting to see. And like, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he was pretty smart. Like, he knew how to not pay for half of, like, majority of the stuff. He knew how to get customers in, and like, he like the whole structure he built that. And like I said earlier, he went to medical school, and it says that he was a mediocre student, but like oh, it would be so interesting. And then I understand like the supernatural aspect of it, of like if someone were to like dig him up and stuff like that, like oh, because he believes like the devil is inside him. And I'm not gonna like what's it called, like debuke, or like I don't know what the word is, but I'm not gonna like you know not say there's supernatural stuff because I don't know. To each their own. But it's fascinating to just, like to consider that. But like at the same time, in the medical aspect, I do wonder what it would be like if he is considered America's first serial killer. What would his brain look like if they but at the same time, technology I feel like wasn't even developed that much to even get. Oh my goodness, this man was before his time. Not saying that I would want him around now, please, but that's crazy. And then the fact that people wanted to turn it into an amusement, like tourist vibes, it's like it's fascinating and like would I want to go? Low key, but not really. I feel like I would have terrible trust issues unless you give me a complete detailed like map and everything of everything and you tell me like not tell me but like you prove to me that nothing works like those gas rooms and everything like yeah but like I feel like it makes more sense now, especially with the game and like this new building, like not knowing that this was burnt down because I was like in the game the building's on like an island. Like where did that come from? And I guess it's just a replica. So wait, does that make that makes me wonder, did he have copycats? Did he have any copycats? Okay, he was an active serial killer in 1891 to 1894. Only 3 years? The great great grandson of US serial killer says he can prove Holmes was also Jack the Ripper? What? Wait, what? Okay, I gotta read this. I gotta read this now. There's no fucking way. Yeah, Holmes is the first known, confessing to at least 27 kills in his small Chicago hotel. Some historians claim as many as 200. And he was only convicted and sentenced for one murder, which is crazy. Wait. Okay, wait. Like Holmes was like the Ted Bundy of his time or something. Okay, evidence. When I started writing the story about my great great grandfather and what it was like, I suddenly discovered the evil ancestry, which quite frankly changed my life. I was approached by some incredible investigators who had for a long time theorized that Holmes was the Ripper. Based on some handwritings comparisons, they had with the famous Dear Boss letter, allegedly sent by Jack the Ripper to London's Central News Agency in 1888. Their expert opinions they received from graphio- graphologists made a direct match, not just something similar. But I knew it wasn't enough, so I contacted scientists at the University of Buffalo and they agreed to run the comparison for me of the Dear Boss and Holmes handwriting. And they came up with some amazing numbers, which I'm going to share with the audience. Oh, I read that Holmes took a trip to London around the time of the Ripper killings. What? Oh, wait. We looked into that for a long time and we could never prove that he was actually at London and in London at the time. But we're dealing with someone who does have like 41 different aliases and never caught by the police. That's so true. He was caught he was caught by the life insurance company. They were fed up with him defrauding them, and they hired the Pinkerton detectives, the best in the world, to set everything else aside and tracked him down across the country, even into Canada, before they were able to gather enough material that they walked into Massachusetts police with an arrest. What? So, like I said, Holmes went to medical school. It says that we know that he's a trained surgeon, and it's theorized that Jack the Ripper is also like someone who has been trained in surgery because of the way he removes his victims' or organs. There was never, wait, I firm believe, I have a firm belief that Jack the Ripper has been mischaracterized by history for over 135 years, and Scotland Yard even admitted that to me. There was never just one man and the five victims. There was a copycat involved. And like you say, the number four victim, Catherine Eddowes, had organs removed by someone who had an anatomically, ana- yeah, knowledge, in my opinion, and clearly and removed cleanly as Holmes would have been able to do, having gone to the University of Michigan School, Medicine School. Wait, okay, I'm so confused because it says that like his kids didn't have kids, but like I don't get it. Oh, he did have a high IQ, which is goes like even more with like the the game where it was just like Kate was like, "Oh my gosh, like this guy isn't like crazy. Like there's no way like he's like mentally insane type vibes because he's planning this stuff like so like precisely like it's crazy." Why do you think Holmes did what he did? The born evil thing I think is correct. I don't believe he was psychotic, and that's why, hold on. And that's why I would like to see criminology and physiology, psychology use his life more as methods of predicting another in the future. Interesting. Wait, they made this into a whole. Wait, was this a documentary? I think it's called American Monster. They used to sell it for 45 bucks for like tickets. This is crazy. This is crazy. Like, I'm like, so like the game is based on a true story, but like fake story, because I'm guessing in the game it's a copycat and not in real life there's a copycat, you know, because since they rebuilt the things. But I guess like the game, oh my God. This is crazy. This is crazy. I'm gonna watch this another time because I'm a little tired, not gonna lie. But wow. Wait. Okay. The Holmes Hotel was gutted by a fire started by an unknown arsonist shortly after his arrest, but was largely rebuilt and used as a post office until 1938. Besides his infamous Murder Castle, Holmes also owned a one-story factory which he claimed to be used for glass bending. Oh, I guess they I guess they undug him, but I don't exhume. His body has not properly decomposed after 120 years, and this article was written in August 30th, 2017. That's crazy. Wait, someone plays him in Supernatural? He's in Supernatural. Why is this the first time I'm hearing of him? Okay. You know what? I need to watch more true crime stuff. That's it. That's it. I have to watch more true crime stuff, and maybe I'll do that on stream too, because what the literal fuck? Like, what? It's just so fascinating how everyone's brain like works differently. Like it's beyond me. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. I don't want to like rabbit hole into this because if I rabbit hole, I know I'm gonna end up on like Jack the Ripper, and then next thing you know, I'm gonna be on some random murderer from like whatever year, and because I know myself. So I need to stop. I need to stop. So let's stop. Okay. We're stopping. But wow. 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 Okay. Well, this was like a short little almost hour thing. So I hope you enjoyed this. And if you haven't played this game, honestly, give it a shot. I do know I want to upload the full videos of me playing the game. Um, so I hope I could do that soon enough. I think we're like 60 somewhere percent complete with the game. But yeah, this is, but yeah, okay, okay. Let's end it here. Um, we could watch. I'll make another to show making the murder castles and whatnot. And then like when I unlock the other videos, I will play those too, and I will post them up on YouTube and whatnot. But yeah, that was that is so interesting. Okay, whatever, whatever. Okay, bye. Wait, where's my hearts? Bye. Mwah.